I mean, obviously, we're not looking at the same spectrum of quality or eliteness, but if they had signed Pietrangelo, well, they wouldn't have been able to sign Robert Thomas,
Exactly.
So who's still an integral part of their offense and whatnot. So, no, I mean, I'm okay with it. And to be honest, I am very excited for the day where you and I will be able to debate the starting roster for Team Canada as well, because that's going to be a lot of fun too.
Oh, yeah. I've already pretty much got my mock projections there.
Oh,
some of them are not very inspiring, but I mean, aside from maybe the bottom forward group or the 7th or 8th defenseman or the 3rd goalie, I'm pretty confident with who I've had listed.
We'll discuss that in the near future, my friend, because obviously we need to get our mock rosters out. So looking forward to that. So another segment of Around the NHL with Anthony DeMarco. Thanks again for your time, sir.
No worries, man. My pleasure. And looking forward to it next week.
Hey! Hey!
Well, thank you so much to both Patrick and Anthony for that wonderful discussion about the NHL. Josh, I believe this is now your time to shine. And please say that you're going to make a reference to our very own favorite Guy Lafleur in this episode. Are we fortunate enough for that, or are we sadly missing out?
Oh, you'll just have to listen to see.
Well, here you go. On this day in Habs history with Joshua Rosa.
On this day in Habs history.
On this day, September 27th, the year of our Lord, 1935, Al McNeil was born in Sydney, Nova Scotia. The bruising defenseman played 11 seasons in the NHL, one of which was with the Canadiens in 1961-62, scoring just 1 goal and 8 points in 61 games, but he did finish with 74 penalty minutes. After a few years of bouncing around the league, McNeil would retire as a player in 1970. That year, he became the coach for the top farm team for the Canadiens at the time, the Montreal Voyageurs. After a year, McNeil learned to call up to the big leagues as assistant coach to the Canadiens, behind head coach Claude Ruel. After a rough start to the season, Ruel quit the team, and McNeil became the first Atlantic Canadian-born NHL head coach. The team was trending towards missing the playoffs for the 2nd straight year, something that hadn't happened to the Habs since 1919 to 1922. But McNeil was able to right the ship with the help of newly acquired Frank Mahovlich, who was traded for Guy Charon, Bill Collins, and Mickey Redmond, and got the team into the playoffs as the 3rd seed to play the heavily favored Boston Bruins. Montreal was expected to lose the series, but McNeil did something that no one saw coming and played goaltender Ken Dryden in the playoffs. Today, everyone would say, well, duh, Ken Dryden is one of the best of all time. But at the time, Dryden had played just 6 NHL games, but he did win all of them, allowing just 9 goals with a 1.65 goals against average. That was better than starting goaltender Roger Vachon, and he's got the starting job in the playoffs. The team beat the Boston Bruins in 7 games, the Minnesota North Stars in 6, before meeting the Chicago Blackhawks in the final. The final was plagued with coaching controversies, from Chicago coach Billy Ray being unable to get Bobby Hull away from Canadiens rookie Réjean Houle, who's kept Hull away from the net, with Hull only scoring 1 goal the entire series. And McNeil had his own controversy. He could not speak any French, having been born in Sydney, Nova Scotia, and he was accused by Henri Richard, his former teammate, of favoring English-speaking players when Richard was benched in Game 5. However, they appeared to bury the hatchet, as Henri Richard would go on to score the Stanley Cup winning goal, and could be seen embracing McNeil after the game. However, winning the cup just wasn't enough to save McNeil's job, as he was demoted the following year, where he would win 3 Calder trophies as coach of the Montreal Voyageurs, and was named to the AHL Hall of Fame.
Well, thank you so much for that, Josh. I gotta say, I always love these little segments of history, which has absolutely nothing to do with me majoring in history. Nothing at all. I do have to say, though, I'm a little bit disappointed to have not heard anything about Guy Lafleur, though it's still an awesome story. I can't say I'd ever heard of Al McNeil, so thank you for that. I did not know that he was the coach that really introduced Ken Dryden to the hockey world and of these pre-existing things between Anglophone head coaches in Montreal. And last time that happened in Montreal did not end very well. We do not speak of Randy Cunningworth. That never happened. But thank you again. So now let us talk about something that is kind of ongoing. So we are recording this, and it is currently the second intermission of the Habs' second preseason game. And I've been keeping the game in the corner of my eye throughout the recording of this podcast, and it's been an entertaining one. Definitely more fun as a Habs fan than the first preseason game was. And yeah, so just a couple of the highlights. I'm just gonna run through this, and we can have some discussion about it. So Jake Allen played the first half of the game, and he kept a shutout, which is lovely, and he played very well. He made one especially very nice save on Ilya Mikheyev in the first period, which was nice to see. And apart from that, what's really shown has been that Montreal trio of Jonathan Drouin, who it's so much fun to see him back on the ice against the Leafs. He always plays well against Toronto, doesn't he, Josh? Like, Drouin always just like ups his game against the Leafs.
I think everyone does. It's the Leafs. Come on.
Good point. You make a good point. But the line of him, the newly acquired Dvorak, and Josh Anderson, and they have combined for 3 goals in the first 2 periods, but none of them have come at even strength. Josh Anderson has 2 power play goals, and Dvorak has 1. And both Drouin and Dvorak have potted 2 assists as well. It's been a real line effort of it's been all of them working together. And I know there is some, I guess, some people have some reservations about this line because it may lack a play driver, but it's been fun to watch. Again, they haven't scored at even strength, but it's been very fun. Plus, seeing the power play score 3 goals in a game, even in preseason, you can say what you want about the Habs offseason, but the power play is much improved. Even with the loss of Shea Weber, I don't think anyone can argue that the power play is not going to be a lot better this year than the last, 5 seasons since Andrei Markov left?
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. They made the acquisition for the power play, which is Mike Hoffman, who's, as many people say, is pretty much non-existent outside of it. But
he's great on the power play. We'll keep that, right?
Yeah.
He score 18 goals on the power play, and we'll just keep that and forget about what he does in the defensive zone on 5-on-5. We don't have to talk about that yet. He's injured.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, so even with this isn't the Montreal power play that we're going to be looking at. I don't think we're going to see Dvorak, Drouin, and Anderson as our top power play line, but it's really encouraging to see them as a line gelling like this. Because so we got Anderson, he's as close to the energy guy, the driving force behind this line.
Power forward. He's a quintessential power forward.
The power horse.
The power horse. It's a wonderful nickname.
Yeah, he really lives up to it.
He does.
Yeah,
he gallops around the ice. It's great.
I was really encouraged by his first goal that I saw. He was able to turn one of those big net front drives into a goal because he was going to the net hard, which is probably my biggest criticism of him last year was that there were so many times that he would make this amazing pace, step right around the defender, get right to the front of the net, and then he'd miss the net. He wouldn't get a shot. It just never worked out. And if he could just convert on like just a few 25% more of those drives, get them even on net, that's going to do way more wonders to his game than that.
For sure. And like the first Anderson goal was just like the line was going into the zone on the power play. Dwayne passed it up to Dvorak. Dvorak kind of tips it to just like as like a dump in kind of tip for the corner, but it hit Justin Holt's skate and just went right in front of Anderson. And he's like, okay, thank you, top corner shot. Just like nice and easy, right? Like nothing complicated, no celebration, just very cool, calm, and collected, as we like to say here. The second goal, which was Christian Dvorak's, was on a beautiful feed from Jonathan Drouin. And as I was just saying, I'm so happy to have this player back. Drouin is really like one of my favorite players on the Habs just to watch, because the pure skill level that he has is really only rivaled by Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield on the team. Like in terms of like,
I think that's fair.
Skill. Like again, not counting Carey Price here, because I don't want to compare apples and oranges here between forwards and goalies, but he is so skilled, and the vision that he has, I think, is going to be even more important this year than it was previously, because the Habs lost three of their best playmakers in the off season in Kotkaniemi, Deneau, and Tatar, and they added in goal scorers instead, right? A full season of Cole Caulfield and Mike Hoffman. So, whereas in the past, the Habs were a team with a bunch of playmakers and no one to convert, it might be a bit of the opposite this year, of having all these goal scorers and then no one to get them the puck in creative ways. And Drouin, you can call it like, again, he was made fun of for only scoring 2 goals last season, but he's a phenomenal playmaker. His vision is wonderful.
Is nothing. It's not nothing.
Exactly. It was great. And like his assist in this game to Christian Dvorak was just parked in front of the net, like at the back post with his stick on the ice, and Drouin got it through like 2 sticks and just right onto the tape, and easy goal. Like Dvorak didn't have to do anything. It could have it could have been any player, like any left shot player basically, and like it would have gone in. Like Drouin just like, he was like, he got it perfect. And the third goal, I only glimpsed it live because we may have been talking during it, but it was another Anderson goal of him off the rush, and then he put it just underneath the glove of the goalie. And like honestly, both Anderson goals were off of very nice shots, and he's going to be the, I guess, sniper on that line. Like Dvorak gets his goals by like mainly by tipping and like deflections and rebounds. His wrist shot's good from medium distance, but like Anderson is the closest thing that line has to a sniper. And yeah, like he's going to be important, and I think the line could gel very well. Again, like it's rare to see like any line stick together for 82 games in a season. Like we're going to see some shuffling happen at some point, but I think it's a pretty promising line to see start the season. Like I wouldn't mind later in the season seeing Drouin on a line with Suzuki and Caulfield just to have like pure skill, like just
that would be
pure
crazy
skill. I think it'd be very fun. But to start the season with this, I think it should be really fun. And so we mentioned Mike Hoffman earlier, and Cole Caulfield. So two of the Habs goal scorers are injured right now. So what are the updates on that, Josh?
Yeah, so the big one is, of course, Mike Hoffman. He's out for a substantial amount of time, 1 month, 4 weeks, with a lower body injury. And, of course, that's all we're going to get. We're not going to know anything else about that. It's somewhere. It's below his waist somewhere, I guess. But it's something.
Maybe. We never know.
Maybe.
They lie sometimes.
Yeah, it could be above his shoulders, too. Anything. It's anywhere. It's a free-for-all. The lower body is below the hairline, I guess. But he's I remember reading that it was a tweak that he did